the NFL Combine. Now, we share that audio, especially because yesterday at the draft party, he basically parroted that exact same phrasing, continuing to tell fans of the New England Patriots that the Patriots' goal this year, heading into the 2025 draft, is to take the best player available and to not draft based on need. In fact, actually, Wolf said something along the lines of last year, we were a bit too obsessed with the notion of drafting based on the many needs that the team had. And so this year we're focused more on taking the best player available. Now, I think anybody who looks at this roster or has talked as much Patriots as we have, Mego, would tell you that when you say best player available, so long as it doesn't play quarterback or isn't a short arm tackle that may not even be a guard in the NFL, the answer is yes, please. How soon can you get here? And can you start immediately? So that led to today's show poll, Mego, that we put out into the ethos. Based upon the words of Elliott Wolf and others, Pats fans, are you more confident than before that the new front office will stick to their guns and have a successful 2025 draft? How would you say so far, since putting that out there, Mego, the Pats populi has voted?
How would I say? I'm trying to pull it up right now. I didn't know I was getting put on the spot here.
But that's part of the fun. Just putting it
okay. You want me to guess is what you're saying.
Take a guess.
I don't think there's any
Your
confidence.
options are yes, no, and unsure.
I'm sorry. Why would you have confidence? I don't think that there's any confidence. I don't think you should have confidence in their ability to draft, because outside of Drake May, who is sitting there at number 3, and you'd be the biggest bozo in the world not to take him or Jaden Daniels in last year's draft, what goodwill have they earned through the drafts in recent memory? And you can point at Christian Gonzalez. Yes, that was a nice move, but that was on defense. So far as you're sitting here right now, the entire plan on offense remains exactly the same as it was at the end of last season, which is Drake May is the offense. Drake May is the most talented player. Drake May is the culture setter. Drake May is our leader. Drake May, Drake May, Drake May, Drake May. So I'm sitting here going, why should I have confidence that this is going to be a successful draft? Maybe if you turned around and told me somebody else completely different than Elliott Wolf is going to be in charge of the draft. Mike Vrabel is in charge of the draft. Mike Vrabel's people are in charge of the draft. Elliott Wolf is just scout-in-chief. He's scoutmaster. He's going out there and hitting the bricks with his scouts. Then I would feel confidence about it.
He's the scoutmaster? Yeah, so now you say that, and anytime I see Elliott Wolf going forward, I'm going to see him in like a tan cutoff shirt with like...
He's going to be trying to make a fire in the woods, and he's got a little canteen, and it's a cute image.
And he carries the arrow of light, and he's got his little canteen, and it says Troop NEP on the side.
Look. The way that they have approached free agency, I can't knock them for too hard, because it is so crazy to think that you'd be able to get a number 1 wide receiver and a left tackle in one round of free agency, like in one little free agency period. I get that. I agree with that. But to also think that you're going to do that in the draft is just as crazy to me. Like, to think that you're going to do that in one draft is inconceivable, and it's not a plan. And that's why I know that we're going to talk about it later in the show, but that's why I'm saying, like, yeah, you should extend yourselves for Steph Diggs or Tyler Lockett, but really I think Steph Diggs, because you need to focus on one of these premium positions in the draft instead of just having a scatter shot where you think somehow you're going to hit on 2 premium NFL positions. So no, I'm not confident.
Wow. Okay. But otherwise, how did you enjoy the show, Mrs. Lincoln? I get you. I understand. Look, and if you want to examine multiple drafts of the past, you could easily say like they haven't had a really good to excellent draft since 2012. If you want to just look at last year alone, obviously they hit on the first one, but that was the easiest thing in the world to do. That was talk about just collecting go and getting $200. The Patriots, the obvious answer was the right answer, and it was what was sitting there staring them in the face.
Fitzy, 50% of Patriots fans say yes.
So far,
yes,
with several hundred votes in right now, you have about 51% of the population saying they believe that this year's team is capable of a better draft, that it's in the right hands. Now, Mego,
crazy to me.
Now, see, here's the thing: like, are we engaged in antiquated thinking based on who was involved in last year's draft? Like, yes, I know Matt Groh is still there, and hopefully we actually get some fast players and make for a fast team this year. Elliott Wolf is in charge, and he has been front and center. He's been the centerpiece and the face of any and all draft and player evaluation talk. But you do have 2 other people, 3 really, Mike Vrabel, obviously, Ryan Cowden brought in from the New York Giants, who obviously worked with him down in Tennessee, because you can't work for the Patriots these days without at least having some connection as a Vrabro to the Tennessee Titans of old. And, of course, the mystery figure, the man that Vrabel goes nowhere without, Stretch, John Stryker. So these guys, I feel like, continue to wield a much more significant influence and input over the players that they've signed, the players that they're going to continue to target, and ultimately the players they're going to draft. What is it like? I know what Elliot Wolf's title is. Executive Vice President of Player Personnel. God, so many words for just something so simple that can be summed up with 2 letters, GM. But what do you feel like his level of power? What do you think his sway, his significance is now with Vrabel and Cowden and Stretch and company versus last year, when it was, hey, do you know how to do this? Sort of. All right, that sounds good enough for me.
He didn't even have the job at this point last year. Like, they treated the draft as if it was kind of a quasi audition for him, or they just didn't want to give him the title and the proper new contract until after the draft. And I thought that was a really strange way to go about it last offseason. Mm-hmm. But if you're asking me if it comes down to who they're going to take in the first round, and it's peeing match between Vrabel and Elliot Wolf. Sorry, I don't have a more dignified way to say that it won't get me into more trouble.
Wow.
So if it comes down to who has the final say, I think Vrabel has much more sway to be able to appeal with his people and to be able to appeal to ownership for doing what he wants to do, because Elliott's track record is horrendous last year outside of Drake May, which, again, I don't give him credit for because it's so obvious. So I think that at the end of the day, overall, Vrabel wields more power, but this is still Elliot Wolf's department. And if you don't think he's not going to have his thumb on the scale a little bit, then I would ask you, why do you think he's around here?
That's a great question. And there are still some, and I don't have this on any good authority. The only thing I have on good authority is who is atop the Elliot Wolf draft boards right now and who they believe to probably be the best player available when they get to pick number 4 on Thursday, the 24th in Green Bay. Several hundred votes in. We are at 40. Oh, down to 40. You're swaying the people. They go down to 49%. So are you more confident than before that the new front office will have a successful 2025 draft? 49% say yes, 26% say no, and 25% say unsure.